Hi everyone, hope all of you are doing good and welcome back to IS Baba's Toppers Talk. So today we have another ILP student, Gunjan Singh, All India Rank 16 with us. And Adi, congratulations Gunjan from the entire team of IS Baba.
Thank you, sir.
And Gunjan, it would be better if you introduce yourself to the students.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone. I'm Gunjan Singh, and I have secured All India Rank 16 in the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2019. And this was my third attempt. I was born and brought up in Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. I graduated in electrical engineering from IIT Roorkee. Post that, I worked as a software developer in an IT company, and since then I've been preparing for UPSC. So this is basically my third attempt.
Gunjan, did you believe that you will be in top 20 this year?
No, sir. It still is a very surreal experience for me, not for me, for my family and friends too. I thought I might be in maybe in the lower ranks because of I could not attempt all the questions in my geography optional and in GS2 also. So yes, it is actually a very surreal and a very surprising moment for me.
Okay. Yeah, as you said, this was your third attempt. So
Yes, sir.
we'll be focusing more on this because this will set a good example for both people who are senior, like veterans who have been preparing since last 3 4 years. They're not able to know what is their mistakes. So for that, there will be a lot of learnings in this video, and also for freshers, what not to do, what mistake that you had committed. So there'll be learnings for the freshers, beginners also. So if you can
Sure, sir.
elaborate more on that, like what mistakes happened, because you said you in the first attempt you were not able to clear prelims, but the second
Yes, sir.
attempt you went on to the interview stage, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
in the third attempt you've got All India rank 16, right? So there will
Yes,
be a
sir.
lot of learnings in your experience. So if you can share more on that, it will be really helpful for the students.
Yes, sir. Sir, I consider my case as to be a bundle of mistakes. So yes, I am full of like do's and don'ts. I have a big list of do's and don'ts with me. If I talk about my mistakes that I would like say to the freshers to not commit. Firstly, only to the freshers that because when I started the preparation in 2016, I was solely focusing on prelims and I was not even thinking of writing mains. So I think that was not a good attitude. Whenever one should start preparing, one should prepare for both, like for prelims as well as mains. And this thing I came to know very clearly when I joined your ILP program, seeing the very tight schedule and the very deadline that you provided along with your syllabus. Then I realized how we should strategize both our pre as well as means answer writing examination, both like side by side, and should be done together. So this thing I would say to all the aspirants who are like just as the freshers who are like thinking of appearing in the examination, have an integrative and a balanced approach towards both prelims and mains.
Okay.
And if I talk about my personal mistakes that I have committed, I think for prelims in my first year, I had studied a lot. Like I had covered the current affairs part good and even the static part good. But what I was lacking in is towards the approach of answering or marking the answers. And there are certain strategies like the elimination strategy or like how to smartly think which option would be right or wrong. I think I was quite bad in that, and that is how I suffered. And it was just a matter of 1 or 2 marks. I could not clear my prelims, but then that was that. Another don'ts I would say to the aspirants, which I have personally faced, is never wait for the results to come, never speculate the results. It is never in our hands. So always uh, hit on from the very starting. And I think I was rectifying this mistake in my this attempt because I was not sure what the results would be, and the COVID crisis was going. I was back in my home, and this year like I did not waste my time, and I was already preparing for my next attempt. So always never think of the results and just keep preparing, because that is what the demand of the exam is. We should not be, do not get lethargic, always be consistent. I would not say give you 10 hours daily, but then do not just sit idly for days at large. So that would be one thing. Regarding answer writing, I would say certain don'ts would be that do not be very rigid in your approach. Like you have because whenever we practice answer writing, inherently because of our maybe past experiences, we tend to adopt a very particular type of answer writing. That is a very individual thing. I think no, we should not do that, because it took me a lot of time to realize that whatever I was doing is wrong, and I should be listening to the test series people or to the evaluators. And like there is a very significant meaning of the keywords, be it comment, critically analyze, discuss, whatever be it, and try to understand the demand of the question, and do not write what you know, but try to write what the question is asking. So these are the things which actually I practiced, and this thing can only be done when you will start answer writing. One more mistake that I did was initially that I thought first I'll cover up my all my syllabus, I will learn everything, and then only I would start with answer writing. But then later I realized that this will never be the case. I would never have infinite knowledge with me, and neither will have that capacity to process that knowledge correctly. So whatever knowledge, whatever ideas I'm having, I should start putting done with like 50-60 answers. We start knowing like what the question is actually asking. So for all the people who are like freshers and who all are students, and to those who always think that we will have like once we gather all the information with us and then only we'll proceed with answer writing, guys, that was also the case with me. I also thought that one day I would be having infinite knowledge and infinite capacity to process that knowledge, but that is never the case. So you start with answer writing with whatever knowledge that you have, with whatever examples you have, and in that very process of you'll be gathering the information, or you'll be writing and processing the information. Just keep it a very simultaneous process, and then with maybe 50-60 answers you'll get to know. But there is a catch here. When I say start with answer writing, does not mean that this is your first day of the preparation and you have taken an A4 sheet and you have started answer writing. Yeah. When I say answer writing, you should be knowing bit of the static materials, like you should be knowing the syllabus of your GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. You should have like read some of the NCRTs, and with the current affairs, like you should have like read the editorials of Hindu, Indian Express. With that, you get the knack of like how the articles are written and how the things are written. So I think there is a balance here also, that you do not just go over enthusiastic, that you just write answers mindlessly, and do not even procrastinate for gathering all the knowledge and then writing. In ethics, you might have studied the Aristotle's the middle path, or the Buddha's Madhya Marg. I guess that is what we have to achieve in this examination.
Okay. So to sum it up, like the mistakes that you had committed is like you had a specific approach, exclusive prelims and mains approach. So what you're suggesting students is they should have an integrated approach, both prelims and mains together, right? That is one. And never focus on the results. Focus on the preparation, the process yes. part of it. And don't wait for the results. And that is very true. That the point that you said, 90% of them do that. They keep waiting for the results. Once they keep prelims, they keep waiting for the results. And by the time the results come, it will be 40 days. Usually that is how the yes, results are announced, right? 40, 45
So that was my case last year. So that is, I'm speaking all by my from my personal experiences only.
Yeah, because I have seen I've seen it in my own students. Right? We come across so many students and we keep telling them, you keep, like you start off with mains after like 1-2 days of the exam. Take a few days rest and start off, but that is not the case. Usually what they do is they keep waiting for the results to come, and by the time the results come, they'll be left with hardly 2 months to prepare for mains. So that is the second thing that you spoke about. And the third is with respect to answer writing. Never procrastinate answer writing, and nor start it from day one. Have a sufficient fodder, yes, right? Have a certain basic knowledge, be it basic NCRTs, you have and basic what's happening in the current affairs. So with that knowledge, you can start off answer writing. So this is what yes, Gunjan wants to say with respect to the mistakes that she has committed and the learnings, right? And so three attempts is equivalent to 4 to 5 years of hard work, right? So how did you
Yes,
sustain,
sir.
like how did you motivate yourself throughout this journey? That is the other important question that everybody would be looking
Mhm.
for.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would answer this very honestly that I started preparation from July 2016 when I left the job and I started. And that was the first time I came to know that there is a book named Lakshmi Kant for polity and Bipin Chandra for history. So that was my first time, and I was very enthusiastic in my first attempt that I would just clear it off in my very first attempt. That is what motive we all have. So it was when I could not prepare, like I could not get through my prelims, and that was the time when I faced failure very closely, and I realized that this exam is all about perseverance, all about patience. And that too also came in a very in a struggling manner, I would say. There were days that I was feeling quite low, but then I would say to the aspirants that do not lose yourself in the process. Whatever you are doing as a hobby, like yoga, meditation, jogging, painting, whatever one thing you do, try to continue doing it, because that is one thing which will rejuvenate you and help you come back with, with a stronger force. And I'm lucky in the sense that I have very supporting parents. So my parents, they're very they love poetry, so they would inspire me with poetries of, the inspiring poems and all those things. And one thing I would suggest to aspirants, that now that it has become more of an online medium with COVID and everything, we are shifting more towards online medium. I think if you can form a group of very sincere 3 or 4 students, not less than that and not more than that, I think that would help you immensely, because that was my case, sir, when I was not able to clear my prelims, and it was my second attempt, and I had already lost some 40 days that you talked of, like in speculating the results. It was only then I came to know few sincere people, like who were also preparing for the examination, just 2 or 3 of them. And with them, I sat with them and I asked, like, how should I proceed? And it was like a very team effort kind of thing. So it is like not a very necessary and a sufficient condition, but you have a sincere group, focus on it. But then I would also say with a concern that while I was going, I always went through your TLP program, that is the free program that you offer in the answer writing. And I would say that people would start chatting in the comment section. So refrain from that. If you have like posted your answer,
Yeah.
just do it and wait for the reviews and move back. So with online medium, you have a lot of chance to the accessibility at your doorstep, but then do not waste time on that too. So in the whole preparation, you have to strategize your preparation, you have to manage your time. And there I do believe that you would leave out and lose out on a lot of friends, but there should be some, like 1 or 2 friends who keep inspiring you. Be in the company of those who keep motivating you, or and leave out on those like who tell you that you would not be able to make it, or this is such a big risk.
Yeah.
No, just keep positive people around you. Have some hobby. Do not lose out on yourself. Do not be very harsh on yourself, and you'll make through.
Yeah, that's well said. Like the family support and the friend support is so important, and also getting
Yes,
to know
sir.
who are your true friends, right? Because even
Yes,
in
sir.
what happens in UPSC, when people are preparing, there are some people who are ready to share information, some are not, right? All this
Yes, sir.
happens. So you should know
Yes, sir.
the people of the same frequency and get together. And as you said, it should not be more than three, because more than three
Yes, sir.
will actually lead to more of other discussions apart from
Yeah,
UPSC.
like what too many cooks make a lot of noise, something on those lines.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, can you tell us more about your strategy? Like, if you can divide it into prelims, mains, and interview, what
Sure,
was the
sir.
strategy and what worked out for you?
Regarding my strategy, and mostly to the freshers who are coming in, I would say that in starting, if you take up like 2 to 3 hours for reading the newspaper, the Hindu or Indian Express, be it so, do not panic, or do not fret or get faint hearted, because that is the time you will take. So that was my strategy in my very initial year of preparation. Like I joined ILP, I tried to follow your timeline, whatever timeline you said, and along with that I tried to adjust all my basic readings like NCRT, regarding NCERT, I would say that this is also one of my, I would put in my one of my don'ts, that I could not focus much on NCERT, and I right on focused on the other higher standard books. I think if we people focus on NCERT, that would be more than sufficient, because that is enough order, that is in a very good language, and because we have already studied it in our school, that would be good. So in our strategy, always include NCERT reading as the very basic reading. And then if in starting you are taking a lot of time in reading the newspapers, do not panic. Take as much time you want, because that will help you in forming new concepts, understanding new concepts. So that would be it. And in my strategy, like I would say about this attempt, because this is the successful one, I integrated both my prelims and means preparation. And just before prelims, like 1 or 2 months before prelims, what I did was I gave totally all my time to the prelims preparation. But before that, I try to cover my optional subject like the geography. I try to write the test series, whatever test series I had joined, in the very deadline that was provided, and try to cover, like if there are 4 of GS, so this time I focused a lot on ethics. So try to choose 1 or 2 GS papers before your prelims examination, that you should like cover it completely. And my ethics, I could not do well on my ethics. So what I did, I recognized my strength and my weaknesses, and I realized that only 3 months would be left after prelims. So why not, this is the time I should focus on my weaknesses. So I would tell this to everyone watching the video, that focus on your strength and weaknesses. Whatever your weaknesses are, try to see what would be the return on investment. Like if your weakness is, I say, some topic of GDP, and then try to understand like how many questions come from the GDP in prelims. And if you realize that okay, 1 or 2 is coming, and it would take you a lot of time in studying GDP, maybe if you're not like knowing the topic much about the national income and all those things, accounting, then okay, take the risk of leaving that and put that time in environment, in polity, in history and current affairs. So that is how you understand your strengths, weaknesses. Focus on what would be the return on investment. Like if my weak point was ethics, and the return on investment is high, because ethics is a completely different paper in itself, like 250 marks. So I cannot leave out on that. So what I did was, before prelims, I focused on my ethics, a bit on my GS1, because in that too I did not fare well in my last mains examination. This I covered my optional geography, and along with that I kept reading, like I tried now, because I had read the newspapers once, I left the newspapers, because now I got good understanding of how to write answers after reading so many editorials. I switched to monthly current affair booklets, because that is kind of a ready-made material and not much focus you have to like do it on that. So I did that. I kept on reading current affairs. And in my strategy, sir, I realized one thing, that I had very limited sources, and I would say that my sources were not even prime or even the best. But what I did was, I realized that if I keep on revising these sources again and again, I would be able to take out the crux of the matter, the knowledge, and I would be able to present it ably. So this is what I did. I stuck to just one topic, one source, and I kept revising it. Like for my prelims examination, I revised my current affair booklets like 4 to 5 times before appearing the examination. So that should be your revision method. Do not go for multitude of sources, because any one magazine can cover it. For more on the safe side, you can cover it from two sources, but just do not extend it further, and keep revising all the time. And after prelims, I again started with answer writing. I joined a test series, and I wrote all the answers within deadline. So all the answers which I could not write in the deadline, they are still unanswered yet. So just have a disciplined attitude, and form a macro and a micro timetable, like a schedule. Like what will you do in like the next 3 months? Now break it down into what would you do in 1 month, weekly, and then daily. And that is how you sit with a stopwatch or any other technique, to know like how many hours you effectively gave. Like be it just 2 or 3 hours, but then those should be your effective hours. So this was my strategies.
Okay. And mains answer writing. right? Anything that you want to
Yes,
say
sir.
exclusively, like did you adopt a different strategy for GS 1, 2, 3, 4?
I would say not different strategy, but like I come from geography optional, sir. So I am able to make diagrams, maps, and flow charts, all these on the go. So if we all, and I would not say that this is very necessary and this is the only thing required, but we need to make our answers bit more interactive, bit more interesting. So for that, and also because we have limited space, so in that limited space, like using your mind maps, like I've seen a lot of your mind maps, and how in the mind maps, just from like in one page you summarize all the things. So that is the crux of making diagrams, guys. So if you are making diagram, you know that in you won't be using that many words, and in less words, in less space, you can explain more. So that should be your strategy while answering. Regarding, like, if I talk specifically about some GS, like GS2, I would say, then it would be good that you are fluent with the articles, the constitution articles, the certain sections from your IPC, CRPC, some of the rankings that India has, like the corruption index or whatever rankings they keep on coming. If you like, these are certain facts and figures. If you start or if you end on these, like if you are knowing well, if you on the SDGs, so all these things will help you if you are putting that in your answers. And also realizing what is the keyword in the answer, the question, like,
Yeah.
is it comment, then it's about your views. If it's discuss, it would be more of a conversation with the evaluator. If it's critically analyzed, then you have to like come with the pros and cons, and you have to tell like how this will fare or not. And always try to end with a positive note, because that is what the attitude we are going to have in our life. Like if we become the public servants later in our life, there will be challenges and problems, but you just cannot crib on those. You have to come with a positive attitude, and that should reflect in your answers too.
Yeah.
So end with the positive answers, end with articles, end with SDGs, and with the optimistic and a hopeful note. That would be it. And like GS3, try to put in, like if it's economics, you should be knowing some of the facts, figures, like about our agriculture was in its own area and all those things. These are very basic facts, but if you are able to use these correctly, I think they'll fetch you marks. If I talk about ethics, I would say ethics from I could not I was not able to understand the demand of the question, and while preparing, by the end of my preparation, I think ethics became my favorite paper. Let the marks come out, and then I would be a better person to talk about ethics. Because I think in ethics, what you should do is, it is not about memorizing the facts or even the definitions or anything. Just for definitions, just to know that you are thinking on the accurate lines, you should do one thing: Google the terms and try to understand what it says, and try to find out the very minute difference between the words that sound very similar, like integrity, honesty, compassion, sympathy. Try to find out the very minute difference between them. And do one thing: think about your life, and believe me, you might have been very honest at certain points, and just write those points, in your copy, wherever you have been like good, where you have shown compassion. Because ethics is all about showing how ethical you are, and you need to put that in the paper. Along with that, learn certain examples of the famous personalities. Like I was so moved while learning about this, like about our Prime Minister, Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. When I read so much about him, like he was like the epitome of integrity and honesty throughout his life. So maybe quote some of the examples from that. There would be some personalities from the world over. Do that. And from our administration, because we'll be getting into that, so take out certain very brimming examples, shining examples of our administrative personalities who have shown grit and strength and courage and probity all along. And with all these, try to frame your answers. Do not make it bookish. It's a very, I think it's a very a paper that allows you to pour all your feelings and personal examples. So this should be the approach towards this. And also, one thing about answer writing, I would say, if you are like facing certain problems, like what should I write, like okay, I know the introduction, I know the conclusion, but what should be the main body, like I do not know. Then try to break down the question into certain subheadings. If it is a 10 marker, 2 subheading. If it is a 15 marker, maybe 3 subheadings. And with that subheading, and pick that subheading from the question itself, like discuss this and this, so you know what you are gonna like put as the first subheading, the second subheading, and that way, like if it is critically analyzed, you should start it like why it is so, now what should be it, and what else should be done in the way forward. So that is how you break your answer in the subheadings, and then you will realize now the space is getting less and you have a lot to write. So those are the things that you should focus in answer writing. And I would say that, like me, many other toppers and toppers from the previous years, and so many people would just come and tell me, okay, this is the strategy, this is the foolproof formula. No, nothing is foolproof. Everything should be your own personal experience. Just keep working, keep failing, and keep learning. Well, eventually keep learning, because with keep learning, that would become your own process, your own individual, it would reflect in your own individual growth.
Yeah, definitely. And did you have any specific strategy for essay? Like say
regarding essay, I think, sir,
mains
yes,
essay.
sir.
And
Yes, sir.
this year, so
I think
any changes?
yes, sir. Regarding essay, I think I might not be the right person, because last year I got 112 marks. And the first time I wrote essay was in the examination hall, because that is what I told you, because I kept speculating the results. The last year it came like 40 days after the prelims happened, and I, with geography optional, so much to study, I just had like 2 months to do, so I could not focus much on essay. This time I wrote like 5 to 7 essays, but let me see my marks, then only I might come up with like something on those lines, because still I'm not very sure that how much I have done on my essay and how much I have scored.
Okay. Yeah. So now coming to your optional, especially with respect to geography and public administration, right? There is this news all over the market saying it is being butchered. Of course, it was like public administration geography from 2012 till almost till 2015-16, they were not doing well. Off late, it has picked up, and this time even rank one is public administration, right? And we've got even many students from geography who are top 20, top 50, all that. So, do you first of all, do you advise students to take geography optional, right? Because that fear psychosis is still there. And what was your criteria of choosing your optional? Because you come from an electrical engineering stream, but you took up geography as your optional.
So talking about suggesting students about taking geography as an optional, I would say that it should be your own personal choice. Just look out at all the optional subjects that are provided, look at their syllabus, and try to, from that, try to finalize like 5 to 6 subjects. And then read the NCERT of like maybe the class 11th or 12th. Like if you're liking political science, read the political science NCERT, and same for sociology, for geography, PubAd, whatever you're thinking of. And then realize that what is your like favorite point or the favorite topic you would like to proceed ahead. Regarding geography, like why I chose it, I would say that I had not given like the detailed thing that I'm telling you, that I came to know much later about this. I could not actually follow, but saying that I was influenced a lot by my seniors actually, because coming from Roorkee, all my seniors who were preparing, they had also taken up geography, and when I looked at the syllabus, I realized that the syllabus is over encompassing, like it's encompassing a lot on the other of GS. And so thinking that coming from the electrical background, it might have some kind of technical topics also, and also the humanity subject. So on these lines I chose. So mine is more of a very mixed and mixed criteria, but for all those who are trying to choose, do it like more on an objective basis. Try to finalize, choose 5-6 subjects, then eliminate the other subjects and choose on that.
Anyway, with respect to geography optional, once the scores comes out, you can write a detailed strategy. So I will not be going in detail into that. And coming to the current affairs part of it, I would ask you like three things together. One is the current affairs. How did you manage current affairs? Did you make any notes on that? And also, did you make notes on static subjects? Fine. So the third part is your revision. The importance of revision. How did you revise? So these three things you can
Sir, regarding the current affairs, I would say for all the freshers and like all those like me who had never read a newspaper in their life, like besides the regional ones,
Yeah.
I would say if you start entering the process, start with the newspapers. Do not go on the ready-made fodder first. Start with the newspapers first, like pick out the Hindu or the Indian Express and go through the pages, read the editorial. And I did this for a year. It took me 2 to 3 hours daily. What I did was like I read an editorial and I tried to summarize the editorial in my own words by breaking it down into like 4 or 5 questions, and I would put it on an A4 sheet. I think it was also a process of answer writing back then, maybe, but then that was my way of trying to understand the news, the new concepts that were pouring in daily. So before you start with the ready-made material, do not do so. Do not jump out jump out directly. There should be some kind of struggle, some kind of hard work from your side too. And after that, I did that the newspaper thing for a year. I realized that I know the newspapers, I know how to read it. So why should now I focus on the current affairs ready-made material? And from that, I in my starting years, I chose like 2 sources, but later on, because of the paucity of time and because I had to focus much on the answer writing, I thought I should stick on just one current affair booklet, the monthly booklet. I did that one. And like the monthly booklets, they always come like if if the month is August, it would come by the September end, and by the September end of the September, I would be done with the August booklet. And that is how I did. Just keep on reading the booklets as soon as they come in the market, as soon as they come to you, and keep revising them. The revision part that you said, sir, it became a very integral part of my process. Like if I talk about some revision strategies that I would say that I actually discovered myself is, there are certain topics that you would realize that no matter how much you learn them, you will never be able to recall them. So whenever like you are going to bed, or like the first thing you are getting up in the morning, just why not pick up that book, that source, or that fact, or anything that you're not able to recall it all the time, even when you are doing so. Then if you try to do this, like for again, I think my internet connection is a message is coming, it's unstable. Okay, any such material that which you are not able to recall it all the time, the time best suited is before you go to bed or the first thing in the morning. Just open that book, just turn the pages and read it 2-3 times, or make short notes about it and stick it somewhere like on the wall in front of you. And these things, like because I'm from geography optional and maps are very important part of the process. So my room, the room where I lived, is full with the diagrams of my own maps, like the maps about the rainfall, the monsoon, and everything, because these are the things which we are not able to recall it at the very moment. And in the given paucity of time in the, sitting in examination hall, when you have just 5 to 7 minutes of writing the answers, you should be knowing when to write what to write when. So that is when you should be knowing ready with your facts, the diagrams, and all these things. So try to make short notes of these, and if we carry them with you, or stick them to some wall or something, so that you can see them regularly. Regarding notes, sir, when I was doing the current affairs from the newspaper, yes, I made notes, and the same note, the answer writing pattern. And but when I switched to monthly booklets, I did not make notes. I just highlighted and wrote the important points at the end of the booklet or something on those lines. And regarding my static material, like if I talk about Lakshmikant, it itself for me it itself is a synopsis in a synopsis form. So could not like make further notes of it. But talking about other subjects like history or other subjects, you can make small notes. Like if it's modern history, NCERT, what you can do is, like I guess there are 14-15 chapters. What you can do is you can summarize each chapter into just one page, like the both sides of a page of A4 sheet, and you can staple it and you can keep it with you. So every time when you now if you are switching to Spectrum or other source, you know what you have with you. You have those A4 sheets of NCERT with you. You can revise it in like just 30 minutes, and then you can focus on Spectrum. So I would say even if you are like switching to the standard books, you should be ready with your NCRTs and try to make notes. Like if it is NCRT history, I would say make notes, because there's a lot of story in that. And for that, you have to just find out facts, figures for your prelims or mains. So you can, like in pointers, you can write those down. I think and I did this for history, I think. So that is why I'm talking about history all the time. So wherever you can find time, because that is what it would be your own choice. Like, yes, for ancient history, for art and culture, for learning the temples and the Nagaraj style and the Dravida style, all those things. Yes, I made a very, in an A4 sheet, I just summarized all the temples and those. And so this would be your own process, your own choice. You have to decide that what you're not able to recall all the time, what you are we are comfortable with. Whatever you are finding it difficult, make short notes, keep them very handy, stick them somewhere, and keep revising them. Revision is the key. One source, many times. That is the key.
That's well said, and that is the must and should. Right? As I keep saying, consistency, revision, and trust. These are the three things that will take you to your destiny.
Yes, sir.
Right? And
yes, sir.
Coming to the current mode of preparation, do you think the online mode is changing the ways of UPSC preparation?
Yes, sir, definitely. Like I have been preparing, I was preparing already for my next attempt, the 2020 attempt. And I am home, till now I was in Delhi, but now I'm home since the lockdown, since March I'm here. And yes, I have chosen all the online medium. And I think even the teachers and everyone is evolving with the process, and they're trying to come up with new features and everything. Internet connectivity can be an issue like the one we are facing right now. So yes, the students who are not able, who are in the remote areas, or who are having some internet issues or not having smartphones, that might be an issue. I do understand. But yes, I think post-COVID also, because this has made us, put us in a very relaxing mode. Like I can just wake up anytime and start making notes. And I think it would be the same for you teachers too. Yeah. So I think this gonna be like, it would become the new normal in the coming times.
Yeah. So with that, what is the role of IS Baba in your journey?
IS Baba, I would say that when I first came across IS Baba, the very logo that you have, the chilling Baba, I think in the whole preparation process, it's very tough to see a logo, something as chill and as cool as something as you have. So that made me click on check the website. And some things that I have dearly followed from your website is the 60 program, because with that, like there are some 25 questions that come just 60 days before the examination. And in those, like 20 are from the static, 5 are from the current affairs, and that is a very good time to know where you stand and what topics you are faltering on. So I would very well know that in all those tests where all the medieval tests, I would do very bad on that. And every day, like your website would post that all those who are getting more than this are doing well. And in all my medieval tests, I would assure you that I was doing bad on everything. So yes, 60 days helped me throughout. And 60 days is some kind of a reassuring thing also, like, because if we multiply like 25 into 60, so it is close to a good number. And then, like you have done these many questions. And what I would do is, I would do this this would be a very religious process for me, the 60 days. I was very regular in it. Like I had made a copy for that, and I would just, for each day one, and I would write all the, I would mark the answers, and whatever, all those answers which were wrong, I would write them down separately, and I would revise even those answers too. So this would be my suggestion to the students, that whatever test you are taking, whatever MCQs, or even the means answer writing test series that you are taking, try to revise those questions also. Like the answers which you are not knowing, just do not mark it off, say it's not mine is right or mine is wrong, and do not just move ahead. Try to revise all those questions where you are failing. And 60 days helped me in that. I have my whole set of notebooks for that. I would share it with you if you would like to see. So talking about ILP, I think it comes with some pretty good features, like the Babapedia, the value-added notes, and the detailed timeline strategy, and also the means questions are also there. So the timeline, I would say, was very good. Like the timeline, in the month this, month that, and like you even gave in ILP, you even gave the break periods also. Like I guess it was somewhere around the New Year or Christmas time. You said, okay, now this is the time you guys can relax and revise. So that was the time I thought that yes, whatever, if I'm studying something separate, because by that time I had made my own notes and do my own study things, so I did not want to mix and match and get confused. But yes, I followed your timeline. And one thing I also did from your ILP was I tried giving the test, because in ILP there are the means answer writing test also. So some of the tests, like the society and all those tests, where I could not read much from the NCERT, so from using your test I did some kind of reverse engineering, like using the synopsis and the model answer from the test and the examples that were given in the test. I noted them down separately, and I tried to study from those notes.
So, Gunjan, you coming from IIT, I should definitely ask this question. And this question is not my question, but because I know what it is, how it works out, all that. But there's many students who have this doubt whether, because even if you see the top rank holders, they're all from, I mean, not all, at least the major chunk are from the IITs. So this doubt, self-doubt comes in a student's mind, whether it is like, whether UPSC is favoring only the IITians or the IITians are doing well. So the the humanities background, will we have a chance or not? So can you give us more clarity on that?
I think that the thought might be pretty obvious, because why so many IITians are like appearing in the list. For this, I would tell you guys that my subject was electrical engineering, but I chose geography as my subject. So I think nothing directly from my IIT knowledge or any of my electives or subjects helped me here. Maybe it would be just that, because I was preparing for JEE, that IIT JEE, so I had already those sitting hours with me, because 10 to 12 sitting hours just in my 12th, and I was able to emulate it and replicate in a better way. So this exam, guys, is all about how you approach and how efficiently and you study and put in your quality time. It is not at all about like your IIT or non-IIT things. I think most of the top rankers, like the rank one every time, is never from IIT for that matter. So do not get bogged by these things. There are a lot of conspiracy theories floating that this optional is getting unfair treatment, only IITians are getting selected. No, let's put all that aside. What we have in our hands is to just work hard all the time, and there would be many lows and many highs. Let's not blame on the external factors. Just try to introspect and try to see, okay, so where can I improve? What else can I do? And for that matter, if you have like supporting parents and few good friends, that would be all, guys. You just need some support, some good motivation, some positivity. And for that matter, if you like do not have much friends, then you can always refer to IS Baba motivational blogs for that matter, because if you're looking for motivation, it will come to you from all sides. So always have confidence in yourself, never be underconfident, and never have self-doubt, and you all will do well.
Yeah, very well
all
said.
The best.
Yeah, very well said, because of course the confidence, the hard work, and the family support and friend support can beat anything, right? Yeah. Then coming to the last question, your final words, your advice to students who are watching this video, and since now around 50 days are left for the exam.
Yes, sir.
So what advice would you give for prelims exam and overall UPSC preparation per se?
Okay, so like for the 50 days that are left, I would say now focus completely on prelims, because had were the results out and had I not been in the list, my total focus at the moment would be on prelims itself. Yeah. So whatever current affairs you have read till date, try consolidating everything, start revising them, make very solid, quick deadlines, like 4 days, this much has to be done, 5 days, this much has to be done. Firstly, sit down, make a good schedule, make a good timeline, and with that, organize your studies. Do not put it haphazard. Secondly, try to write as many tests as possible, like the prelims test, I would say. Like if you have done written few tests, then revise all those points, all those questions which you have not done, which you have made wrong, or where you were like not sure about, where you have learned something new. Revision is the key even in the test papers. So I would suggest try writing at least 20 to 30 test papers at least. I would say it is not the matter that the questions would come in the examination. No, never. They never come. What happens is you get the confidence and you know the way how to approach and how to answer the questions. So do that. And with your static material, now I think not much time is left. So do not like rush on all the topics. Like you have to cover environment, history, in economics, polity. Do not go all out. Like if you know everything, it is very good. Then start revising. And if you have left out on few topics, like if your economics is very weak and you know now 50 days, 40 days would take in revising economics itself, then you take a very smart and a fair call, like where you need to put more time, because it is all about the return on investment I talked of, like where you give more effort and you get better marks. Like if you are able to revise polity and environment more, and you are getting more questions correct on those lines, then focus on that. And while writing the test, try to find out what are your weak points, what are your weak subjects, and again try to study on those lines. Like if you are getting more questions wrong on polity, then try to figure out which chapters I'm doing wrong. Like if it is from Supreme Court or Panchayati Raj, then go revise them. So do these things, strategize your preparation, write tests, and with test revise them, and with test try to evaluate your own preparation and proceed ahead. Just be calm. We all are like floating in the same anxieties and same uncertainties. So you are not alone, no one is alone, we are all together, and you all will make through it. All the best, guys.
Thank you, Gunjan, for sharing your valuable inputs and your strategy with the students. This will definitely help a lot of students who are watching this video. And
hopefully,
apart from that, all the best for your future endeavors. God
Thank you, sir.
You do really well. And be a
Thank you, sir.
To many to follow.
Sorry, sir, I could not hear you for the last
line.
Be
a source of inspiration to many to follow.
That is a great privilege, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.